done. So this is why I'm here.
Wait, did you really get people?
I got one person, and he knows who he is, telling me where's part 2. And I'm like, you're right. And I was thinking the first time I heard the podcast, I need to do a part 2 because it's true. I feel like in any podcast, if it's not at least 2 hours long,
it's trash.
Not that it's trash. It doesn't
get into
deep,
yeah.
And you don't really get used to anything until like at least past the first hour.
Yeah.
There's a lot of podcasts who I haven't. Can you stop? No,
leave my camera guys alone. You seem like Ellen right now.
Ellen, yeah, that I haven't gotten, or I get past the first hour fine, and then the second hour is like where it's actually at.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I was hoping it would be.
Hopefully,
this would be like this song.
Hopefully, your head's not too much, because I felt like you were a little like, we have to talk about something really good, and I'm just like, what? And then you're like, no, I'm just kidding. Yeah. It's because I just.
I noticed you're wearing shoes today.
A bunch of foam. I did.
Yeah.
And because.
Wait, was that another rule? I can't have drinks because of the foam.
No, you can.
Oh,
it's just I just remembered that I gave you a bunch of foam last time.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I was gonna make you hot chocolate, and I was gonna introduce you to my mom officially, but she's in Mexico.
Oh,
she was here last week when you were supposed to go, but it wasn't your fault. It was Christian's fault.
It was her fault.
It was my mom's fault. All right, she should have waited one more week. Man, how have things been?
Good. I feel like there's been a lot of change in this last week that I wasn't expecting. And which is really nice because I feel like I entered 2025 thinking, whatever you want, Lord. And I feel like that's very dangerous if you don't live a strong faith. I hope I do. But to say whatever you want really means like get ready for what I'm about to show you. So
yeah,
I'm excited for this year. It's been nice surprises. I mean, there'll be downs. I know there will because life isn't easy, but I'm really excited for this year. It's looking pretty good. Yeah.
I just stopped expecting things each year. And I'm just like, okay, I'll do whatever you want, but just like help me because I really can't do this.
I'll do whatever you want.
But just help me because it was funny. I know we're not supposed to necessarily talk about what was said in confession, but I really liked the question that the father asked me. He's all like, what are you looking for? And I'm just like, what? Like, this isn't part of confession. Why are you asking me this? There's no Q&A. And
what are you looking for from this confession?
Yeah, because I think, I don't know if everybody else struggles with this. I feel like they do, but it's like, there's
you don't have to tell me your sin if you don't like.
Oh, no.
Okay.
It's just murder.
Deep. Okay.
And oh, wait, it's YouTube. Unaliving. Oh, wait, Trump's president. No more restrictions.
I don't know.
Anyways,
okay, go ahead. Yeah.
I guess he recognized my voice, and also because I talked to him outside of confession. And it was something, that I've been struggling with over and over again. And he was going to give some advice, and then he stopped, and he's all like, what are you looking for? My first response was, I don't know. My second response after like 2 seconds was like, I just want God in every aspect of my life. I'm listening to a lot of stuff that tells you about like, we all think we need a holy hour to have God. It's just like, no, just involve him in everything. While you're at work, involve him. Before you go to bed, involve him. As you're cooking, as you're eating, involve him. And that's so much harder for me than actually having a holy hour. But it's more convenient, luckily. And I just said, I just want God involved in my entire life.
I feel like that's harder because we're so focused on doing and rather like, why are we doing what we're doing?
Exactly.
Because I can scroll on TikTok for hours now that it's unbanned. I don't have a TikTok, but like you necessarily wouldn't be doing that for the Lord.
Right.
And I feel like if you really challenge yourself and ask yourself, why are you doing the things that you're doing?
Yeah.
I feel like our lives would change drastically.
I feel like it has. And so this is what I said, like, I want him in every aspect of my life, but I'm afraid of what he's going to ask for me to do that. And when I get afraid, I jump back to my attachments. And I think that was it was definitely the Holy Spirit, if that was accurate. If it was just me and my feelings, that was me. But it sounded right. I've been meditating on that these last couple of days, and
On the phrase, what do you want? Or like, what do you want out of this?
the whole what do you want, and my responses. And I realized I think that's what holds most true. I'm fear of the personal cost of what it takes to involve him completely in my life. And so when I get scared, I go to my attachments.
Why are we so afraid? What is up?
Because we hear saints like get murdered, and
No, like normal fears. Like, why are we so afraid? I was talking to Belen. Belen is another person you have to bring on here.
I'm gonna have Marcos on Friday, so I'll get her.
Exciting.
She said
I'll listen to Belen, not to Marcos.
That's fine.
Just kidding. I love Marcos. I was thinking about that today
Yeah.
earlier. Marcos is my favorite speaker, ever. Yeah, he's up there with
Take that, Father
Christophonic.
Mike.
No, yeah, actually, there.
No, he's so engaging. But I'm sorry, go ahead.
Because Marcos has said things like, for me, I don't think he knows this, but my personal conversion was his talk during the TLB retreat, my first TLB retreat, Love and Redemption. And I don't remember what he said. I literally have no idea. But I know that he gave the talk, and it was the first time in my life where I realized that I'm loved by God.
Yeah.
And I've never had a speaker since then really touch my heart. And others kind of do similarly, but like it's through, like if I see Christophonic, the way he talks is pretty similar.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I feel like he's your cousin. Like your cousin, basically.
Yeah.
He has a way of. Are you guys related?
No, we're not.
You're not? Okay,
No,
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I totally thought you guys were related.
I had a huge crush on his sister, on Bethy, like back then, so it'd be a little weird.
So sorry.
Yeah.
I don't know why I thought you guys were related. Okay, maybe because of the youth, and you guys all went to the youth groups
We
together.
did.
And
We
I
did.
feel like
And
everybody.
he was a huge impact in my life too.
Yeah.
Him and Belen, but a lot him, because honestly, like the way I see him is like he's been a man's man, you know.
Yeah.
And I really look up to him. I don't know. But yeah, I'm sorry. Continue. His talks too have also. I'm all like continue, but wait. His talks have also like stuck with
They
me
have
a lot.
impacts.
Yeah.
I know. And I really wish I saw him more in the parish. And I think he doesn't do CCD. But I mean, his job right now is to be a father, to provide and be there for his family. So, but yeah, I'm happy he's coming to the
Me
podcast. That's
too.
exciting. Yeah.
Yeah.
People will understand when they hear his episode. He's a great man.
Very good.
Yeah. Okay, well, back to his wife, Belen.
Oh yeah.
So I talked to Belen, I want to say it was a week ago, and I was explaining to another friend something that was going through my mind. And when I said it to my friend, Belen was coming. We were like going to cross paths. So I sent the voice message to the friend, and then I saw Belen, and I told her, what is it with fear? Like when you say what you're afraid of,
Yeah.
like it doesn't go away.
No.
But it comes to the light, and there's a different, it doesn't weigh so much on you when it comes into the light. It's not as dark anymore. And she's like, isn't that crazy? And it's like, it's liberating when you're able to name those fears.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, that's the feeling. Like she was able to name the feeling that I was going through. Oh, she's such a beautiful woman.
Yeah, and that holds true with what's been happening. I've been like I said, meditating and praying on that, and when I'm in prayer, I'm like more and more, little by little, more willing to like, yes, enter my life. Yes, like help me not hold anything back. But I think if I'm getting any bravery or courage, it's through His grace as well, you know? So yeah, I used to struggle with full surrender to God. I mean, I still do in certain things, especially when it's going to cost me certain things that I like, or certain things that I don't want to do. But I think just keeping up a good, consistent prayer life helps. And I am not very consistent with my prayer life, but lately it's just that I needed that. I needed a priest to ask me, like, what are you doing, you know? And so fear is crazy. Speaking of fear, I got really scared last night. I was home alone last night.
Yes.
And I laid down and I was doing my night prayers, which Mia and I, we try to do One Our Father, 3 Hail Marys, and the St. Michael. And as soon as I laid down, I just thought, like, do the Sleeping Joseph prayer. I've never prayed it before. I started to pray it, on my phone. I Googled it. And then it had certain intentions. And that's what my intentions was, like, help me to not be afraid to follow you regardless of whatever it costs me, and to help me let go of my attachment so I can be just with you. Da, 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 amen. A light turns on. I like that. I've been sleeping in that area for about a month. Never seen it on. That
Like a
moment,
light, like a physical light.
a physical
Okay.
light turned on.
Like an idea light.
No,
Okay, like a physical
just a
light.
physical light turned on, and my first reaction was fear.
Really?
Yeah, it wasn't until later today when I was thinking about it. I was like, maybe that was him saying, like, I got you. But man, I mean, whatever it was, it prompted me to pray more. I prayed another Saint Michael. I started to ask, Saint Benedict and Saint Padre Pio, like, help me. I know you guys.
Isn't it funny that the things that appear evil later bring you closer to Christ? There are things that are blatantly evil and like don't get close to them, but there's things that are bad objectively and they actually bring you closer to God.
Yeah.
Objectively, death is bad. We shouldn't have to suffer because of the consequences of death, but we live in a sinful world. And even through death, some people come over and find Christ, find hope.
Yeah, and
And in this sense, a haunted house brought you closer.
It's extremely blessed. I have Saint Benedict's medals everywhere. And that was the first time something like that's ever happened here. Well, something happened here once, but that's a whole nother story. And yeah, but I was asking all these saints to come be by my side. My patron saint, Mary, Joseph. I'm like, everybody.
Your guardian angel.
Yeah. And everybody's guardian angel. I'm like, just, for the night. But yeah. Go ahead.
I listen to scary stories because I feel like people are scarier than demons. I don't know what I listened to something where somebody the exorcist said, like, don't be afraid of demons. Like, God's won the battle, And I don't know why, but that gave me a lot of confidence.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not asking demons to come and like test my faith, but I think there is a lot. I think I would fear a lot more. I think I fear a lot more what us as humans can do rather than the supernatural. But I think that's just me. I think I'm...
Do you think it's the unpredictability from humans?
I think we're all a step away from like being maniacs. Like we go through a lot of stuff. And why is it that somebody can suffer trauma in their life and they look at it at a positive way, and another person could go through the same thing and their life turns like a
horror movie.
Yeah, like a horror movie, yeah. And it's not like this sounds bad, like it's not your fault. It's like evil is everywhere. But how is it that my story, because I've gone through things in my life where I feel like I could have just thrown in the towel and I would have been, and if somebody like a secular person would be like, oh yeah, and it's fine. Which story kind of, it breaks my heart. I was listening to, or just watching, okay, this might be a little too graphic for listeners, but hopefully there's no kids. Mia, don't watch this episode.
She doesn't watch it.
Okay, well, people, I don't know if you heard about the lady or the OnlyFans girl who did, who slept with 100 men in one day.
I heard of something like that. Yeah.
And then it broke my heart to see her cry, and for her to say like, this is only for the tough women, like, and I was like, what are you talking about? Like, to see how broken she was, and I feel, I prayed for her that night, but I feel like women who have just gone through so much and are broken, the next words out of her mouth, like the next title in a new article or whatever news that was covering it, said that like, oh, her new goal is 1,000 men in 24 hours. And I feel like that's us in reality. We're like, you know what? I've gone so far. What's the point? Whereas there's other women who maybe slept with a handful of men, and then there's change in their heart at one moment and their life goes a different direction. I don't understand. Like, why is God's mercy I don't know. I hope she finds it one day, and I hope we all do, because I know it's there and it's for everyone.
Yeah.
But it's I don't know. That's scary for me, because we all have our past, and there's things that I'm like, wow, if I one day dare to go back to my past, I don't know how I would like return from that.
Mm-hmm.
But like another plus side of that is, even if I do, I know God's mercy will be there to save me. And that's harsh. Like I don't ever there's a phrase from Sister Miriam James, like I don't ever want to what was it? It was, I don't ever want to do anything that will separate me from the love of God. But to get to there is also recognizing that I've done bad, and the bad I know what it's like to be away from God, and I don't like it. And taking, I don't know, there's many steps that get you there, and it's hard. Like, why? I think it's humbling. Like, why am I here where I could be somewhere else? I don't know. That makes me very humble, and that makes me very thankful, and it makes me remember that God's love is just over. It's greater than anything I can. I don't know. Yeah. Physically achieve. No, like it's His grace. It's His grace why I'm here. Isn't that wild?
That is.
Sorry, I rambled.
No, you didn't. Everything you said was good. I enjoyed it, and I'm 100% with you. And I want to thank you too, because every time we've talked about God and how we see Him, we saw Him completely different. You've always seen His mercy, or at least in the times that we've spoken, I felt that you were at that point where you see His mercy, and I was scared of His justice. I found, not that He was going to punish me, but I felt like God was disappointed in me. I was a burden to Him. Like, ugh, why'd I even bother with this guy? He keeps on going on. And lately, I've had a lot of opportunities to experience His mercy, and I've been so grateful for His mercy, and it makes me reflect a lot on how much I just need to rely on Him in order for me to go where I need to go. Because before, I think it was me, like, I need to be better. I need to grow in virtue. I just on my own, I need to reach a certain level in order to be worthy for God. That way he doesn't see me as a burden, or whatever I thought He saw me as. And if I didn't let it go completely, I'm really letting it go, and hopefully God keeps me there where I can let that go and always rely on His mercy. And it's from the countless talks that I listen to every day, because I listen to like 3 to 5 talks a day at work. I'm sorry, but I'm still working, I promise. And
His mercy endures forever. Isn't it wild? And I think God's a just God, and He has it, but I think our version of justice is just very corrupt. It's my kind of justice. I want you to love me the way I've experienced love in my life.
Yeah.
And it's not the same.
Maybe it's human justice, the way that I'm looking at it instead of divine justice. I don't know, but yeah, it would scare me. Like, before, it would scare me, like, oh, I sin, now God's like mad at me, now He's gonna probably send me to hell if I die or something. And now I'm just like, hopefully, once again, I hold on to this grace that He's given me of, like, I've offended God. And that's what hurts more than actually fear of being, I'm still scared to be condemned, but the I've offended God is way more present in my...
I'm harming our relationship. I think whenever I talk to my confirmation students, or I just recently gave a talk on prayer, and I'm like, what you do in prayer is you're forming a relationship. And when you sin, you're breaking a relationship.
Yeah.
And I need people to understand that God is not an idea. He is not an image in your room, because one day your house might get broken into, that image might get robbed, it gets damaged, and then what is your God gone?
Yeah.
Is your rosary that you carry in your pocket, you must love it, But like, if one day you lose it, is Mary not in your life anymore? When you realize it's a relationship, it's somebody who's with you and who's fighting for you and with you, and you live for him, it's so different. When I was doing the talk, I emphasized for a really long time how whenever we get close to prayer, when we know that we're going to go pray, recognize that you can't pray correctly, at least, if your image of God is distorted. I mean, we all can go pray. Like, it's like, give me the grace to see you the way you actually are, right? But if I have a broken image of who God the Father is, if I have a broken image of who God the Son is, or who the Holy Spirit is, then I can't pray correctly, because I'll be praying for a genie. You know, I'll be praying to a genie, or I'll be praying
solve all my problems.
Yeah.
Make me feel better. Yeah.
Make me feel better the way that I want to feel. Like, to my image. If God is made in my own image.
Yeah.
No, we're made in his image and likeness, and we have to ask to be formed in his image and likeness. Yeah, that's beautiful. You don't have a crucifix. My only thing in here is like, you don't have a
one
crucifix.
there and another one right there.
Okay, fine. But when I'm looking up at the American flag, which is
God bless America.
Yeah, today's
The inauguration. Yeah, usually I had that one, but I got criticized because I carry books there, and just because I referenced the book.
No, it's good. It's good. I'm looking at it and I'm like, literally, God bless America. Today we were doing, before communion, we did night prayer, and I prayed for peace, because I think we just need peace. It's a new president. Just please, that's all I pray for, because I think certain people are saying there's unity gonna come together, and then there's other people like the world is ending.
Yeah.
And I think it's neither here nor there. I think we still need to pray for our country, for our nation, for the people in war. I think for the people who are scared, because there's so many there's just so many lives are impacted by today, what happened today, that I don't think I could even imagine. So
hopefully,
I just pray for peace.
Yeah, hopefully that prompts them to pray. You know, for our president.
Are you turning my words against me?
No. But that's, well, you did mention that earlier. It's crazy what God allows, or what we perceive as fear, but to get him closer, to get us closer to him. Like, even the those terrible things that happen to us in our lives, how we have like a decision to go, and God is always reaching for us, even though we're not, and we always have a decision. And I mean, you know a lot about my life. I've chosen the other side a lot, and kind of sat there, and then I come back and I chose this side, and and so I know the temptation that's there, the relief that you get the temporary relief that you get, living in the world.
Mm-hmm.
Today I was listening to a talk, and I was talking about how the flesh, the world, and the devil are like are real enemies, and he was trying to put it in a form of a war. He says at first you take the big military and you take that, and that's the flesh. That's the one that you fight first. Once you've overcome that, the world is going to come at you with, your ego, for status, for money, for things that make you feel good after that. And then I forgot what happened. I think they called me to go do something else, but it was getting really into it, and I've definitely felt both of the flesh and the world, of and how it's so comfortable there, and how it's so like, oh, everything's great here. But then God, being as merciful as he is and great as he is, he makes it so uncomfortable, and so, no, you're meant for more, and it's always painful, but that pain is meant for well, at least in my case, and I know for a lot of people cases, that pain is meant for me to go to him.
I remember there's one sin, and as you're talking, this comes to memory. There's one sin that I still carry that reminds me of his love. it was I was in the middle of doing the sin, and I was like, I know what I'm about to do. It's not God's will. And I know that, like, I know that this hurts him, and I don't care. I don't care. And I literally remember thinking of him while I was about to do what I was going to do.
Yeah.
And in the middle of doing what I was about to do, something happened, like super last minute, that made whatever I was going to do not happen. But I remember what stuck was not the sin that was going to happen. What stuck was how God saved me in that moment. And not just how he saved me, it was the feeling that I, who had been in, not in religious life, I had followed, like I was, how old was I? I was like 16. I was probably 16, 17. I had been in the church. I'd been living my faith for so long. And I was just so shocked of how fragile I was, of how much, like, I was in the youth groups. I was altar server. I was like, and I'm still capable of turning my back to God in an instant for this one moment, one moment that I was like, you know what? I don't care. I could care less.
Yeah.
And the fact that he loved me enough to take me away from that moment, like it reminds me of how fragile I am. And I think a lot of us don't remember or don't want to realize how weak we are. Because as soon as we realize how weak we are, we would give God all our whole selves. I would, the moment I realized I suck, I can only be happy and truly myself, all because of him. Okay, wait, sorry, going back. It was that awful moment where I realized my nothingness, my lowliness, and how he still saved me in that moment, and how he still loves me, even though I literally told him, I don't love you. I don't care about you. I'd rather want this. And I like that feeling of embarrassment, of love. Like I feel like I felt what the prodigal son probably felt of, I hate you. I want you dead. Give me my money. And I was, and then literally 3 minutes later, it was God saying, come back. Isn't that wild?
That is.
I feel like our lowliness does a lot more than we give credit to. If we really realized how fragile we are, we'd be stronger in Christ.
Yeah. And one of the things that God definitely works in me is breaking through my pride and my ego. I can do this on my own. I do everything else on my own. I'm able to manage, and realizing I'm just weak. I just started a couple months back just saying like, God help me, I can't do this. God help me, God help me, God help me, and he helps me. He comes through, and I do get, I still find myself in that crossroad, like, but I still want to do this sin. So I know what I'm doing is wrong, and so there's still a lot to chip away at me. But
do you find yourself stronger though than you were a couple months ago?
Yeah, I do. And then there's times where I find myself weaker, and then stronger again, and then weaker. But one thing that I'm learning, it doesn't matter how I feel. Just keep going, just keep going, just keep trying to create that prayer life, that connection with him. And I guess, fight for your life. Like if it's a life or death situation, try not to let it go. And that feeling of just giving up. I don't know if you've ever seen like the Animal Planet show or like Discovery
Okay. Yeah.
when do you know where I'm going with this? Like a zebra's running, a lion gets him, and it's fighting and kicking, and then there's just a moment where it's just like whatever, just kind of gives up, stops fighting. Yeah, I feel like I become that zebra a lot, where I'm just like, all right, just eat me already, just forget it. It's too hard to try to keep fighting.
Did you watch the podcast of the one that I sent you?
About The Biggest
It was
Loser?
the Biggest Loser one.
Yeah, you told me the most important part was the beginning, right? Because I didn't hear the end, or was it backwards?
No, okay. So the one phrase that stuck to me the most out of listening to that, again, because it was talking about human weakness and like all these great things that I actually want to go back and listen to, but I don't know when I have time. She says, there's a part where she says she yells at the contestants and she pushes them because life is not going to stop for you. Like when you are in that workout and you are in pain and you feel like you're going to give up, she's the only voice that says, no, keep going, because life is not going to stop for you. Like you're going to feel like you're in a pit and people are walking all over you and you're just dead. And you have to get up and keep going. And I love that because it's so true in spiritual life. It's so true that, what saint was it that said, just that saints are the sinners who kept getting up.
Yeah, who got up just one more time or something like that, right?
Who was it? You know who I'm talking about?
I don't know what saint.
There's a saint who
I think
said,
last episode we said JP2 is every quote.
Oh,
No,
okay.
just
But a saint
But
is
I've heard
somebody
that.
who always gets up.
Yeah. Yeah. Gosh, thanks be to God, man. I keep getting up. But it's only because of him.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's so good to us. It's just like we suck so bad. He's all like, I'll do it for you. But you won't even notice that I'm doing it for you. And you think it was you. And now you're all your ego. And I have to drop you again and then like pick you up again. I'm just, thank you.
But I think what you were saying at the beginning of learning to recognize him and pray with him throughout your day.
Yeah.
Oh, that makes a difference. That
It
makes
does.
such a difference. And I feel like those are my little moments of prayer. They really, 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 really are. When I realize like I could have gotten a car accident and I didn't, like, that's how I swerved by like a minute like that. And just to thank God for being there in that moment.
Yeah.
Or, okay, this is a dumb example, but I've been looking for, there's this, I think it's called Daily Deals in Fresno. And it's like just these big, like, whoever is listening. They have these huge bins of like Amazon return packages and you never know what you're going to get. So I went there today and I only go every once in a while. And you're really like, if you're lucky, if you get anything that you want, because it's super random and you never know what's going to be there. And these last 2 times that I went, I'm like, okay, I just need a lunch pail. God. And I want it like this. I was so picky too. And I didn't, I was like, if I don't find it, I'm not going to buy it because I don't need more things. I just need this one lunch pail.
Yeah.
Because I was, anyways, I needed to pack a lunch and I'm so picky. I wanted a specific one and I was going to buy another one. Anyways, point being, I found it. And that was such, so dumb. And I was like praising God the whole day because I was like, I found this dumb lunch pail and I know it was your will. Anyways, today I went back. And I was like, I'm only gonna go to see if they have. I didn't even know what I wanted, but I was like, I'm gonna
American
go.
problems.
It was I have first world problems. I wanted a little screen thing so that. Anyways, I wanted something for my screen, and I was like, I'm only gonna get this if it's there, and it was there, and I was like, thank you. And I feel like those little things where it's like. He's so obviously there because I said if I don't need it, I'm not gonna get it. But if I find it there, and it's funny because when I was going through the stuff, I was like, how many people come here thinking like they'll get lucky, and I go thinking like divine providence. And I was looking for things in case I could use like in the classroom or like anything religion, and. Yeah, like being Catholic, being Christian is so beautiful. 'Cause
It
it's
is.
like my life doesn't revolve a lot. It doesn't. It's not luck. It's
Yeah.
God, and it's in these little things where I feel like we're missing. If I think that I'm living a lucky life, you're missing. You're missing that like
A
little
lot of
prayer.
beautiful moments.
Yeah, a lot of little where God's literally saying like, "I did that for you.
I think
I did that for you."
I remember Belen saying this, and I'm so glad you brought her up.
Mhm.
She would call them winks from God.
That's Sister Anna Rosa would say that.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Little winks from God. I'm like, oh, that's cute.
Mhm.
I imagine when he winks, like a hurricane happens.
Oh my goodness.
Divine providence. You know, I started to think about that in a different way because it's always divine providence when we find our lunchbox or when things work out, you know?
Yeah.
But it's also divine providence when we go through our tough times.
Mhm.
Those are things that are needed to get closer to Him.
I feel like you have more experience in this because
My life's a mess.
no, you ask for difficult things in your life and then they happen and then
Yeah.
yeah.
I regret 99.100% of those. No, I don't.
You're
I mean,
like, Lord, give me patience. And then I'm like, Diego,
just
why
like,
would you pay
boom. It's just
for
like
patience?
elbow, the
Yeah.
people's elbow on Diego. Yeah.
We should pray for patience. I think I need to practice patience, but I kind of do that when my internet's going slow. Like, why would I pray for more when I already have to?
Yeah. I don't know why. It's the only thing that I ask for that's tough to do. Because at work, I don't ask for the tough jobs, you know. Here, it's like, we need to re-roof this house. And I'm just like, yeah, let's save
Divine
up.
providence.
Let's save up so someone else can do it. But with that, it's just like, well, if you're going to do anything that's difficult, I'm pretty sure this is the one that you need to do.
Mm.
But in doing so, it'll be like, Diego, go roof the house. You know, it's just like, no.
Hey, a lot of saints would say, what is it? Do the, not the meaningless task, the most difficult thing.
Mhm.
Like it, I feel like a lot of saints from like who founded congregations, religious congregations, convents or whatever. What do we say? Put yourself last, but not just like putting yourself last and like kind of like do something without people asking you to do it. Do the hardest task.
Yeah.
Doing things without complaining. I feel like yeah,
one of the, it's not a brag, but it's just something I never expected. And I'm so grateful. And it was one of those moments. After I stopped participating at the youth group so much, I had an opportunity, excuse me, to start preaching to my family, like to cousins, aunts, and uncles. This Advent, I prepared for an Advent talk. The topics, because we're having a posada. It was Advent, and then Nativity, and then what is a posada. My talks usually last, if you've ever heard of one, between 30 minutes if I didn't prepare, or an hour if I over prepared, which I usually do now. And I got there, and then it was meant to be in English because, you know, it's my preferred language. And but all my aunts and uncles were there, and I'm like, oh God, like, what do you want me to do? Like, I'm like, just
he humbles you real quick, doesn't he?
Just do Spanish, yeah. Just do bilingual, do bilingual. And they were saying like, hurry up because we gotta hit the piñata. I'm all like, I prepared like 45 minutes. It's bilingual, and I have to hurry up. Okay, God, this is all you. I'm giving this to you. But
it came out in 15 minutes.
It was like a 20-25, and it was
like half of what you wanted because you had to translate everything.
It was, but. How many people get to say, like, I gave a talk to my family and we do this once a month. And now some cousins are getting the courage to give a talk themselves. And I'm just like, I don't know, like, I thought that you wanted me for this or to help out at the parish or the diocese or something. But you wanted me to build my family, to help them. And I'm like, okay. That one was really hard because they know me and they know how, you know, full of BS I am. So I'm just like,
Sometimes, not always.
yeah, no, but I'm never like with my family. I'm the one that will say whatever I need to say to get a laugh, as inappropriate as it gets, but just to get the laugh. And now I'm the one that, hey,
Welcome to my TED Talk.
welcome to my TED Talk. And yeah, so it was interesting how he placed me in that. And at the time, I remember when he put that into my head, because when I'm really in my prayer, I do pray like if I remember, I'm like, God, I love you, or Lord, be with me, or whatever. And not whatever, but I remember I was thinking like something dumb that I didn't really need to think about, that wasn't gonna lead anywhere. It was just some random thing. I'm like, God, help me focus in whatever it is that you want. Then it said, how you give talks to all these strangers? How about you give talk to those people that you need, that need to hear this, that are close to you? And my first response was like, nope. Nope. And then I kind of sat in it, and yeah, I'm all like, you know what? I'm going to reach out. If nobody says that they can, oh well, that was me trying. And I was like, please, everybody say no. And no,
'Cause,
people are like, yeah.
preaching to your family is the hardest. Because at least I know from experience, like whatever I say, it's like, oh, you don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Because even
You don't get it.
Yeah, you don't get it. But even Jesus
Yeah.
was not accepted within his own people.
Yeah.
Isn't that Jesus of Nazareth, the
But I've
son
been
of the
accepted.
carpenter?
And that's what I was. I was so scared, because I'm like, I'm not going to be accepted. They're going to be so judged. And they're like, oh, like, this is good. We should invite more people. I'm like, what? So he humbled me in both ways, in the sense of like, hey, like, do this difficult thing. You think you're all bad because you can, talk to teenagers, just
No,
try talking to all your older cousins that are,
Yeah.
probably changed your diaper at one point. And then realize that, when you trust me, I can work through you, and things don't always expect that everything's going to go negative and south. I think that's something that I need to stop doing, because I do that so much. It's just like, okay, I prayed for humility. My life's about to get ruined.
Why do you pray in fear? Oh my goodness.
I pray with courage, but understanding of how God works. Well, at least thinking I know how he works.
Exactly.
And then he just always
Making
throws a
God in
curveball.
your
He's all like,
image. What?
he always throws a curveball. He's like, see, it wasn't that bad. And you still got humbled. I'm like, thank you. I'm over here like, where's it? But
That's something I really struggled with when I was telling Belen this the other day. I don't know what image of God I had when I entered the convent. And it was my first year, and all these great things were happening to me. And the first day I got there, I remember I was really, so for those who don't know, for me, when I entered, I didn't even enter religious life yet. I had just flown over to Spain, and I like,
free trip, yeah.
no, the first couple of months were just me getting used to living in Spain and being in Spain. So those were hard. But even in those, because I miss my family and I was introduced to this whole new culture. But anyways, we fast forward a little bit, and all these great things were happening to me. And for whatever reason, there was, I know it's a Bible verse. I don't remember which one. Please forgive me. But it's the one, al que se le confía mucho, Dios pedirá mucho, right? It's if God trusts you with much, it's because he's going to ask for much of you.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's a Bible quote. Maybe oh man, now I'm going to add this in the comments.
The one time our, our producers aren't here to fact check us.
It's fine. It's okay. But I took that as God's going to come back and ask me, like I'm in debt. Like I gave him my whole life, and now all these great things are happening, and I thought it was going to be enough. I thought I was going to come and suffer. I thought I was going to come, like, not like a martyr, but I thought my life was going to be sad, or I don't know. Then I felt like I had to give God everything, and it was going to be, and I had to suffer for it. And it was going to be like a joyful suffering, like a glorious suffering, like the saints,
Yeah.
and it is like a holy suffering. I don't know if that makes sense, but and I remember thinking like, I am so happy. Like, what the heck? Like and God was doing so many good things. And I was just mad at him in prayer because I felt like something bad was going to happen because he was doing all these good things and I had already given him everything I had. So there was just like this frustration of, I stop being so good to me because I know I'm like, I know I'm like something bad, even worse is going to happen. And I don't know if I can handle that. And it was an older sister, God bless her heart. She was like, what kind of obscure, like what kind of horrible image do you have of God the Father? Like he doesn't give you a candy and then like hit you like in the same like within the same couple of days. Like he doesn't do that. Like stop. She basically told me like, stop thinking of God the way you think of him. That's what she was telling me. Like understand that the way you think is his justice. This is what we were saying before. The way you think he loves you is not your way. He has his own way of loving you and he has his own timing. And it's like, stop trying to control God. Like stop trying to think that exactly what he wants and when he wants to do it and how he wants to do it. And that was very humbling to me because I went, like, obviously when you leave to become a religious, you do it out of love and it's very heroic. But then the devil likes to creep in and be like, oh, like, I don't know. I feel like I was very blessed because I knew that I was going because I loved God, and whatever happened is because I love him and I am ready for anything. But then slowly that love for him started becoming fear because I thought that I was then owing him something, So like, and I'm happy that slowly he has been able to show me his like real merciful love. And I think that a lot of us go through life thinking we know how God loves us, but we truly don't. Okay, can I say another thought? Recently, I got in trouble in confession. I'm not going to say with who.
I can imagine, but I'm not going to guess.
Okay. He said...
Can I guess and then we'll cut it out?
No, you guess after. But I was not expecting it because I was like, I don't have much sins. I have this one thing, though. Anyway, so I said, and this person was like, stop that. No.
I think I know who you're talking about.
We all know who we're talking about. But he said it so harsh. And literally, whenever I go with this person, he's so kind, he's so beautiful. He's like, I love him because he's straight to the point, he's direct. And I feel like he always knows when to tell me what I need to hear and how I need to hear it. And for whatever reason, the Holy Spirit like told him, I imagine, or like inspired in him to say it very direct and harsh. So I was like, he's so right. He said, literally, stop. Like, what the heck are you doing? Like, why are you even here? I felt like he was kicking me out of confession. And that's how I felt. And he's like, it was on forgiveness.
Yeah.
And it was, he said, do you not pray the Our Father? Forgive us our trespasses as we forgive those who trespass against us. And I was like, see, like, it's so hard when I put myself in God's, like, I become God, because we think it's easy and it's not. Because my number one problem was like, I don't think I've forgiven. And he was like, you should. Like, stop. If you think you have it, literally stop. and forgive the way the Father forgives, is what he was basically telling me. But he was saying it like, you need to change your heart right now because it's not doing you any good. And you need to love the way God is asking you to love. And I feel like that's been my prayer for a long time. And it is something that I've struggled with. To always, to love the way God loves. I feel like I've been called to do that. And for him to tell me that you think you're praying the Our Father, right? You think you're living it, but you're not. And I think we all fall into this. Like, I think I'm doing what God wants me to do correctly. But for whatever reason, the Holy Spirit inspired me, like, you need to confess this one thing. And I did. I was obviously more specific to him with like the whole situation, but he was like, stop that. No.
I love it.
And I'm like, why do I like to put God in my own image and likeness?
Yeah.
Yeah. Why is it? Why do we do that?
Because I don't think we can fathom God. I don't want to say we've been poorly catechized too, but I feel like that might be a little bit of it.
I think it's because we're American.
Yeah.
And we get what we want whenever we want and how we want it.
Yeah, that's right. If I'm hungry right now or if I need tires, I mean, I can't afford tires right now. But if I need like, whatever, I can just go on my phone and...
I literally think being American is...
a curse.
A curse. We're so
Spiritual
rich and we don't even
sure.
know it. Like, we're so rich. Like, I think we have to force ourselves. I think the biggest saints that are going to come out of the U.S. are the ones who purposely choose a simple life. And that doesn't necessarily mean like religious.
Yeah.
Because I think I'm thinking of somebody specifically right now. I'm like, you live such a simple, holy life. You remind me so much of Saint Joseph. And I'm like, I pray you make it to heaven. I don't know their struggles and all that good stuff, but I think the people who strive to just live a simple life, look for others, pray for others, serve their family, like, honestly, because you don't see that. You see people with like their fancy cars, their new shoes every year. Christmas is wild. Nobody's thankful for anything they got on Christmas anymore. Some people are.
I'm very grateful for this Christmas. We were all pretty broke. So I was talking to my brother about how humbling it was and how much we don't need things and how little it is that we need for us to be content with what we have. So it was a very beautiful Christmas. And but Christmas is crazy. You go out there, you try to go get some, deodorant, and people are just running each other over TV,
Yeah.
Or like, some of these, people like at Walmart or Target, they're teenagers and people are talking to them like, why don't you have that? It's just like, I'm just trying to get a paycheck to eat,
Yeah.
Like, we're so entitled to tell people how they should do their job. And that was one thing that I've learned recently. And I asked St. Joseph a lot to be with me while I'm at work. And something that I started to confess a lot, and I'm getting better at it, is that I'm stealing because I'm not always working to my full potential, or I'm not always working while at work,
We have that in our religious life. Like, you're basically stealing money from the sisters if you're not, like, let's say they pay for your schooling and you're like not studying to your full potential or giving that your 100, or to the school, for example. Yeah. Yep, you're stealing.
Yeah, so I asked Saint Joseph, like, help me. And even like somebody stops to talk to me, I'm like, nope, I gotta work. I've gotten better at like keeping a good balance where it's just like, okay, I can talk to them, see how it's going, if they need help, and then I just kind of move on before the whole gossip starts, And it's helped me stay out of gossip too, because work is a huge place for gossip. I forgot what I was going with all this. Oh yeah, it was, right now my vocation, I'm a single guy, but I have my daughter to look after. I look after my parents. So right now it's like to do my job and do it well, and just to try to accomplish that. Do your job well is a lot harder than one thinks, because it's not about just getting the job done. How's your attitude? How do you react when people tell you you got to stay another 2 hours? That's the part. And it was also through a confession where they kind of shown a light to that. It's just like, yeah, besides from stealing, it's just like, how are you being at work? Can people recognize that you're a Christian at work? Can people recognize that? But I don't know. It's so hard, but it's the simple things, the day-to-day things that we do. Once we do them well, the way that God wants us to do them, that's it.
Do we have a phrase from our foundress? She says, do what you do it well, and do it for God. I think I shared this with you.
Yeah, you did. And that's kind of what I heard. I'm so sorry to interrupt you. I know what you have to say is way more profound than me.
No, it's not.
It says, like, go to work and work well for God first, and
Yeah.
then work well because then for your family, your company. But everything you do it for God first. If you're going to wash dishes, do them for God, you know?
I was thinking the same thing. It's so hard for me anybody who knows me, it's really hard for me to wake up early in the morning. And I was reading this book on a saint who she had the same, well, she's not a saint yet, but she's in the process of, and she would offer that, like, getting out of bed for God. And she was a sister, like she would go to bed tired. She would wake up again tired. Like she just wanted to stay in bed. And it was the hardest thing for her in religious life to wake up early and go to prayer. Because I think a lot of people, I think at least for me, before becoming a sister, it was easier for me to wake up when I knew like I was going to drive or I was going to walk, like I was going to do something. But then when you're a sister, you wake up and you go to prayer. You're forced to talk. I don't even like to talk within the first hour to anybody. Anyways, I'm not a morning person, but she would offer that up. Yeah. And it's something that I don't have New Year's resolution, but I really want to incorporate of like, I used to have it really well. Like the first thing that comes to my mind, may it be you, Lord. And it's a lot of times like I just have one more hour. Go out, like it's so hard.
And that hour doesn't make a difference ever.
Anyways, do what you do it well, and do it for God.
Beautiful.
There was I was sweeping the floors in the convent, and a sister comes up to me and she says, do what you're doing, do it well, and do it for God. I was like, wow, she's so wise. I was like, she's like, thanks. I was like, just like sweeping the floors. And then I realized later that it wasn't her wisdom, it was our foundress's wisdom. So
she's passing it on though.
And she passed it on, and I remember it. And I remember her specifically telling me and where I was. Yeah.
Do what you do it well, and do it for God.
Mm-hmm. Do what you're doing.
Do what you're doing.
So like basically if you have to work, you're focused on your work. You don't have a bunch, like you're not multitasking. Mm-hmm. You could, but do it like at least 100, like put your 100%. Do what you're doing. Yeah. Do it well, and do it for God. Yeah.
Sometimes I struggle to do that just hanging out with my kid.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
She's getting at the point where the eye rolls are coming, where she gets frustrated with me, where I'm not the funniest guy in the world anymore. I'm one of the most annoying guys in the world now. And I'm just like...
She's a preteen, no?
Yeah. She'll be 12 this year.
That's exciting. I saw her video. So I always felt like Mia has... Wait, can we name her? Yes. Yeah. Okay. So I always felt like she had something that's like she thinks more than what she says. And that's kind of like me. Like I think a lot, but I don't say everything that I'm, because if I do, I'd get in trouble. But I'm like that. So when I was listening to her video, like when I was listening to you guys talk, it was so beautiful to be like, oh, this is just how she is. Like she's very transparent. Mm-hmm. And like she'll only tell you what she wants to say. And I'm like, like I guess that's kind of like me. Like I don't know how to explain. She's just...
I have to pry things out of her sometimes when I know she wants to talk about something, but she doesn't know how to start the conversation. Yeah. So yeah, she's...
Yeah, that's me. That's so me. Which is funny because people say I'm very social, and I am, but not always. And I feel like you just have to like just poke at me a little bit, and it'll come out. But I promise you, I don't know what it is. But yeah.
Yeah. And you're very tricky when it comes to you, because we'll start talking. I'll ask you a question, And then you'll be like, but what about you? How have you been? And then you just kind of flip it on me.
Because I like to listen. I like to listen to other people. But it's true that I think a lot while other people are. That sounds
Some
mean.
people can manage to do that. I can't, because if I do, I completely have to tune you out to think about what I want to tell you. So
yeah, I know. That happens to me a lot too. Okay, that sounds so bad. But anyways, going back. I don't know. I found a lot of me in Mia. And that was really surprising because I feel like, I don't know. When I see her, I'm like, she's such a tough kid.
yeah, she is.
Yeah.
Actually. She's got her first competition this Saturday for jiu-jitsu. Yeah, Kevin's training her. I'm like, yeah, I'm a white belt, bro. I suck. I don't go to my classes. I go.
No, you were doing so well. Weren't you going like once a week?
I go, yeah. So I still try to go either Monday or Wednesday. And I help coach Mia's classes on Tuesdays and Thursdays. So sometimes like when I'm with the actual coach and he's using me as an example, the kids are all laughing at me. He's like, no, that's not how you do it. You do it like this. I'm just like, always like, humbling me.
Like, Dad. Did she see you? Is she like
Mia?
Yeah. She's says, like, oh no.
She said you did that really wrong. I'm like, she's way better than me. But I'm glad, it's a shared hobby that she just completely surpasses me.
Oh, that's so funny.
I still beat her up though.
I loved that video for that reason. I was like, I got to know you.
I just realized how I dress like I don't care. I just woke up. I didn't even try to shave or anything.
Who, today?
No, for Mia's video. I was
sorry.
so like gross. But yeah, I need to.
Like I said, who I meant when. Yeah. Okay.
Right.
Like who? You? No.
You got shoes on today, Diego.
I know. I noticed as soon as we started. I was like, she has shoes on today.
He's trying.
Anyways, we went off topic because I don't even remember. It was Mia.
Whatever I'm doing, I do it well, and I do it for God. So I put on shoes.
No, I loved that video. I learned a lot from Mia, and I'm like, yeah.
Yeah, she's a cool kid.
But yeah, anything else you want to talk about? I don't know how long we've been talking.
I don't either. Let's check our phones.
7-Eleven.
We are American. What time did you get here? 6? It's only been an hour. It's been pretty good for an hour.
Yeah, it was. I feel like it was too deep for an hour. Usually,
let's keep it light.
Yeah.
Did you hear that?
Yeah, somebody broke in.
St. Joseph.
Pray for us.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hopefully, you don't interrupt our podcast.
Yeah, it's all right.
I'm just kidding. Okay, so now let's catch up because I feel like we somehow went into a deep. No, I know there was something with me. That is catching up,
though. That's how we are, though.
No, I'm saying. Yeah, we got off topic and now we can't get back on it. Sorry to everyone who was listening.
They don't matter. They don't even watch our show.
That's true. I didn't share
your video.
My video because I was like, it's just me laughing, and it does get to the end. But this is more of what I wanted.
Yeah. But also recognize, sister. That's one of the things that at least I love about you. Mm-hmm. I could always have a good time with you, and also have a serious time with you. But
it's so random. It's literally so random. Yeah. See, with Mia, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, she throws me off all the time. So don't feel bad.
Yeah. I was like, oh yeah, same. And then it's just, those mazes where it gets cut off and then you start another way and you just kind of find your way out. Yeah. That's what I feel like many of my conversations are like.
Yeah, it's fine. Not everything needs an end.
Okay.
Not everything.
Anyways, I can tell you updates, I guess, on
what? What's going on at the parish?
Yeah, I am this semester I'll be teaching 6th, 7th, and 8th grade religion. That's fun. And then I'm taking 5 classes. And then I'm taking in those 5, I think it's linguistics is in person and dance is in person.
You're gonna dance?
Isn't that hilarious? What? Yeah, I know. And then I have like 3 online classes that I hope I don't forget.
Nice. What type of dance? Is it hip hop or are you gonna be
it's like child recreational dance, something like that.
So it's something to apply at.
Yeah, liberal studies.
Yeah, my first job was at a daycare and we had to dance with the kids.
Mm-hmm. Your first job ever was at a daycare?
It was at a daycare.
18-year-old Diego.
18-year-old Diego, fresh out of high school.
Dancing.
All I did was lie and be like, I want to be a teacher someday. Be like, oh, great, we need more male teachers. I'm like, I just need a paycheck.
We really do. The one male, there was like my dance classes I want to say we were like at least 30.
Yeah.
And one male in that class, he had to be a liberal studies major, got up and walked away. As soon as he saw what we all shared, what the class was going to be like, he got up and walked away. And I felt so bad for him. I was like, no, stay. It's probably really important for your major. Just stay. Yeah.
He's like, I'm just gonna be an engineer.
Yeah. Just like, yeah.
I'll settle.
Yeah. But I'm excited. I'm excited for this year. I only need 3 more classes. And then we'll see.
What are you majoring in?
I'm doing liberal studies for now.
And then you want to major in?
Well, the whole point is for me to become a teacher. So I'd be getting my bachelor's in liberal studies. And I don't know if I should do, just get a master's in education in math or something.
You can't go like for theology.
That's what Father Larry was telling me. We sat down. He was like, you know, it'd be great. Theology. And I'm like, I know, Father, I know. But just the schools are far. So like, if I could study, it would probably be, there's just not a lot of theology schools. And we were thinking of doing like a private one for me, but it would be at a Protestant school. And my sisters were kind of like, maybe not. Just because.
You'll convert them.
No.
They're halfway there.
So yeah. When I first came, I had 3 classes online doing them. They were like teachers and students. Like, anyways, but it was, no, it didn't work out. So I hope I'm able to continue my studies because I did leave it. I will because I'm a sister and education is our life. So I'll always be like growing in that aspect, I guess, of education. But for now, my only goal is to like be able to like teach a class. And then like, thanks be to God, I'll be having that opportunity this semester. But it just, I don't know if I'll stay here forever and I have to get my credential or my master's. It makes more sense to get my master's in case I do go anywhere else to study and that's not here and they'll only take like a master's because a bachelor's isn't really
anything anymore.
Anything in some places.
Yeah.
So I don't know. But anyways, that's where I am at right now.
Are you gonna have a mission trip this summer again?
I don't think so. We haven't been talking about it. Just because one, I don't know what, like literally I never know what my summer is gonna look like. And then we got a new mother general. Nice. Oh, I think I talked about this in the last one. And I haven't reached out to her because she's kind of traveling right now. Just her job, you know, to check up on all the sisters. So I haven't asked her. Most likely not. But I'm not sure. Honestly, I'm telling you, it's just going to be all God's plan this summer because I don't know.
That's the best plan. So
it's scary because I can't plan. I think, talking to some of my friends, it's worse, the unknown. At least I feel. That's what I fear the most. The unknown, the not knowing and not planning. But then knowing sometimes brings anxiety. So I don't know which one would be worse.
Yeah. Maybe just plan and don't know. No, I don't know.
There is
the remedy for that. I think Padre Pio says pray and don't worry about it.
No, there's one that says, oh, what is it? There's one that is pray like everything. No, work like as if everything depended on you. But pray knowing that it's not and it's all dependent on God. Something like that. Yeah. I'm doing this wrong. Okay, another quote that I have to find and correct myself. Because that, you know, in the last episode that we did, I said a verse and I was like, oh, Jesus says, and then I was thinking, I was like, I don't think Jesus said that. I think it's just in the book of Revelations. So I was like, do I correct it?
St. John said.
I know, and then it's not. Oh, man.
Yeah,
that drives me crazy.
You're still a young sister.
I know.
How many years?
Not even 5.
Wow.
This is my 5th. Yeah, because 4 years. Because I got back right before COVID. Yeah. No, right after COVID. Everything was slowly opening up. And that was wild for me to get back to Madeira and see that it wasn't
How you left it.
How like literally I wasn't like everybody had just like these like there's to this day I'm like, oh, weren't you guys friends? And then they're like no, and I'm like, oh, I'm so sorry. And I don't know if it was like during the pandemic, after the pandemic, just friendships that weren't the same, people who had just like different ideas, even like political stances changed for people, and I'm like what happened, guys? I thought we were just all like family, and like we're
united in Christ.
Yeah,
it's crazy. The devil creeps in.
Or like when I meet somebody, I'm like, it's been so long, where you been? And they're like, oh, I go like I moved, or like, and then come to find out like this whole other thing happened. I was like,
also people just get married.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah, gotta focus on that. It is your vocation after all.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. But just like in the world, you do get positions of power or status or whatever. Same at the church. And this is just the youth group, you know?
Somebody told me
it's not even like bishop. It's just
somebody told me how much are you into the church politics? And I was like, what kind of question is that? And I think I said not really, like not really into it. But anyways, their question was simple, but I can't believe I think it's been known that the phrase is church politics.
It's the first time I hear it, to be honest.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
They call it the church politics.
Is that when just people disagree?
Yeah, or like they have teams or sides or whatever.
I've experienced church politics. I just didn't know that was a word.
Yeah, I didn't know either. And I thought it was just really funny. And it's funny. Okay, talking to Belen, I love her. Bring her on the show, please.
Yeah. Belen, get on the show.
Yeah, this is our pitch for you. She's like, we need to be a family. She's like, Protestants have that on us. Like they go, like they find each other in the streets and like, oh, they go to my church, you know? And we are like, at least I felt like I was part of a family. I still feel like I'm part of a family, but it's true that I think they're a lot better at making each other feel welcome and welcomed. Just welcome.
That's true. Every time I'm at mass and I have to scoot over, I'm like, really? Why don't you just come earlier? Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, I don't know. I think that's true, but I think that's also like my fault. Like I can't say we need to do this. No, me as a person who obviously I don't know if quickly identified, but you look at me and you know that I'm part of the church. Like, am I doing a good job of reaching out to people and being there? And
I think I would get carried away with stuff like that because I feel like I would see a need and I'll try to fill the need. But I would go like, you know, with, I don't know the term. It's just without any spiritual guidance, without talking to anybody. Maybe there was already something like this. I just probably had the opportunity to talk about it more like, hey, there's this. We're all struggling with this, but there's that. But yeah, I went about all that the wrong way every time. Like, for example, trying to start the men's group, trying to do all kinds of, I don't know what else I tried to do. But
did you know that they made a new young adult group?
I did.
And it's called, do you know the name of it?
It's not Disciples Ignited, is it?
No, but it's called St. Joachim's Disciples. So, and we're like, we already had that group. That's what we were saying. And it's funny because we were pitching names and the name was either, what was it? It was a lot of names and we stuck with St. Joachim's Disciples, which is really nice.
That's good.
But I was like, oh man, like they brought up the name and I don't know why it split, but it did. It didn't. It just faded away. Was it that?
I don't know. I've never been to it.
You didn't go? Oh, I thought you were part of the group.
No.
I thought I was talking to like, weren't you once the president or a member? No.
Of men's group?
No.
The young adult group?
Yeah.
No. I wasn't there at its birth or at its death. Hopefully it's so good because it's needed. It's definitely needed.
It is needed. Well, they started. It's basically the same. We're just meeting. We're having meetings and we're having talks, and it's more for the 18 and over, 18 to 35, just with a different name.
Yeah.
So, but it's just like that we have this, not like a similar name, made me think of like, why did it dissolve? Like,
yeah.
And I think a lot of it had to be like, were we a family? You know? And I think we lose a lot of people because we're not family. or we're not. I don't know, because I would say there's people who
United.
probably would argue like, I don't want to be a family. I just want to go in, go to mass, and get out. You know, I don't know.
That's where I'm at right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I really tried hard to build a family kind of thing at TOB, but then it was my time to go. So since then, I'm just like kind of discouraged. I've been told about it. I don't think I've ever been invited to it, the young adult group. But yeah, I agree. It's so much better when you look at every member there, and although you have disagreements or they annoy you, or you know you guys can't be alone, otherwise you're gonna be trouble. There's some love that you see there, or full love. You see them and you love them, but you're like, but I can't start a conversation because they'll never shut up, you know, kind of thing. But yeah,
I remember going to youth groups and being like, I don't need to be here, but I want to be here. And feel that feeling of like, I am here for you. And I hope that spirit is still there. Like, I'm not here for myself.
I think so.
I'm here to try and bring you closer to Christ. And
100%.
I think it's there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think that spirit will go away. I think because even if you go there for selfish reasons, like at first I had no idea what I was doing when I was like, here, be taking charge. And I'm like, God chose me. I'm the chosen one. I'm like, it's just a youth group. Relax, buddy. You're not making
like when you would name
choices.
Somebody like treasure.
Yeah,
or like,
you're not making choices like a bishop, you know? It's just, yeah, it's just, you're the babysitter for now, you know? Obviously, it was much more than that. I didn't know what I was doing. It was a mess, but it eventually gets to how it gets to anybody in the Bible. Like, oh, I don't know this, or no, why me? Jonah sticks out to me. It's just like, hey, you go preach over here. What? No. And he's like, yeah, you. Here's a fish. And
here's a fish. You're swallowed by a fish.
Yeah. Paraphrasing. But same, like that's how I felt. It's just like, this isn't for me. How long was it? I tried to find a replacement the moment I was in charge. And then the moment I was like, this is good. I like this. Diego, that's it. Your time's up. I'm like, no, I just started to appreciate this. But no, God will get us there. I think half the battle is showing up, because although, honestly, I was thinking about this today. I'm like, I probably spread a lot of heresy while being in charge, because I didn't know what I was talking about. I didn't have a lot of guidance, you know? I'm not trying to, copy, but
I think God still worked.
Oh, 100%, 100%. And like, I remember like when the switch was flipped on me of like, kind of just going through it, trying to get through it, rolling my eyes. I didn't really like certain things. So like, I love every single things of this. Even the things that I find a little cringy or like, ugh, I still loved it, you know? Not because for what it was doing for me, but what it was doing for everybody else. And yeah.
My prime at TOB, I want to say, was when I was younger. Now I go and I know that I'm like in charge, and it's different.
Yeah.
Because it's not the same feeling. Not that I'm in charge, but I walk in and it's like, oh, she's so old. She's born in the 90s.
That's pretty rough.
So I think it's different. I feel like when I walk in, when I was a youth leader, a lot of me, it was like, I'm serving the youth. I'm here to serve the youth, and this is what I'm doing. And I'm so thankful for that, because I think that really ignited a fire in me. Like, you were meant to serve. Like, your life was meant to be a service for others, you know? But now that I'm older, I think I value a lot more the connections that I make with people, like the more long-term connections that I make. So when I do, I try to kind of see like, oh, who are the leaders? Who are the ones who like maybe are a little too shy to come up and say hi to me, but I'm going to go talk to them and have like a little conversation with them, because I know they're there and they sound so bad, but I know those who have been there longer and who understand, they'll kind of value this like little discussion more than if I have 100, if I talk to all of the conference, like all of the 60 people there.
Yeah.
You know, like a lot of them don't even, like, they don't know me, and they're not like, oh yeah, I saw that one person once.
Yeah.
Whereas if I had this small conversation with somebody who's like trying to grow in their faith actively, and I think in our parish it's so hard to do those choices. I think they're both valuable, but I don't know. When I go now, it's definitely different, and I feel like I have to put like I cherish more the moments that I'm with the youth leaders now.
Yeah.
Whereas in before, it was like, oh, those are my friends. I can just go hang out with them after. We can go have a coffee. Whereas, so like my focus was more on like the youth kids. Whereas in now, when I go, it's like, no, how are you guys doing? Like, how's your relationship with God? With the older kids who are now in charge and who need that.
They do.
That extra, like.
I am so grateful for Father Stephen just like stepping up on all the youth groups and just helping out.
And being there. I love seeing him there.
That's so.
I'm literally living by example. Like now my classes are Tuesday, Thursday, so I can't. I showed up last Tuesday because I didn't have class, but I love seeing him there. Like I love seeing him there, and I can't go all Tuesdays.
Yeah.
Because I get home. I think I got home late, and
I never got to see him there, but I'm just glad that he's there. When people tell me like, "Oh yeah, Father Stephen's good," I'm like, "Thanks be to God," because we definitely need some guidance like that. And he's such a, well, at least my interactions with him, such a loving and patient man. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Side story. I went to Vallarta, and I saw this. Okay, so I never go to Vallarta. Anyways, I went to Vallarta, and I was with these sisters. And this guy was unpacking something. And he was a worker. And he said, "Hey, Sister Jessica." And I was like, "Yeah." And I was trying to recognize his face and like try to put like, I was like, "You're not my confirmation student, but you look like you've been through confirmation." So anyways, all these thoughts are going through my mind. He's like, "Oh, you probably don't remember me, but I went to TOB and like I would see you there." And I said, "Oh, hi." I'm not going to say his name because what if he's embarrassed?
Yeah.
So we were like talking, and he said, "Yeah, you gave the talk when you guys went to Mexico." So like he was talking about the first mission trip that I went. And I was like, "Oh no, that was a talk where I threw something and it hit somebody in the face." Do you remember that? I threw a rosary specifically. I threw a rosary at somebody and I swung it wrong. And it aimed somebody right in the middle of the face. It was like right here. Oh my goodness. And we were both laughing.
Was it him?
No, it wasn't.
Divine Providence. Play that rosary.
Oh my gosh. But it was just so funny. We were just laughing.
Yeah.
And it was so awesome that I'd be like, "Hey, and I thanked him afterward because nobody really goes up to me and says, a lot of people stare at me like they know me, but they don't really like stop me to say hi, which is awkward because I know you're staring at me, but I just don't remember you, or like we're obviously not at the church, so I can't connect like where I know you from.
And then you're in the habit, so you probably get
like anyways, people know me, but like a lot of times it takes me a second, or like I have to hear their voice, or they have a haircut, and it takes forever for me to connect the dots to where I know you from. Anyways.
Yeah, same here. I'm sorry, go ahead, finish.
I was so thankful that I told him, I was like, "Thank you so much for stopping me and saying hi, and like, thank you for this moment." And he was like, "No, yeah." And I was like, I told him like, "I don't come to Vallarta often, but like, I'll look for you." And he was like, "Thanks." And then I was like this close to invite him to the young adult group. And then I did it. So I'm hoping next time I go, I'm definitely going to invite him.
Maybe he types in Sister Jessica on YouTube for whatever reason, and boom.
Ding. Imagine.
This is your sign to go to the adult.
This is your invitation. No, I'll invite him in person. But it was nice to see how excited he was to see me and to share that moment and to be like, and part of me was like, "Do you still thirst to that community? Do you still want to have like a group?" And I was so close to telling him, but yeah, I'll tell him next time I go. But I think there's so many kids in there that like once they are gone, part of them, at least for me, part of you misses it.
Oh, when they miss.
When they leave the youth groups.
100%. Every time I would miss, I would be like, I miss it. But that happens to me so much too. And it's such a blessing. And it reminds me like, maybe you did make an impact in people's lives. Maybe God using you made an impact in people's lives.
Do you ever run into people when you go into the stores? Yeah.
Every single time. And I'm so glad I'm not saying or doing anything dumb. when
they find you.
Yeah. And, but it's always like, I'll be honest, I don't remember 90% of them.
Well,
But
I mean, I think our confirmation program is just so big.
it is.
No, not 9.
And then every year there's a whole new set of 20 of 30, 40 kids that come in. Because in peak times there'd be like 70, 80 kids. So
Yeah.
yeah. It's interesting. Or like they're all grown up.
They're all having kids. There's one
yeah.
couple that I see at church, and I'm like, you're definitely from the youth group because they're young. It looks like they just got married.
And they have a bunch
and
of
they
kids.
have one kid. No, they have a little, I think a baby. I don't know what it is. But I see them from afar and I look at them. I'm like, you guys definitely went through the confirmation program. And I'm so happy
That's such a good
for
program
you
too.
guys. Yeah.
I don't think we give it enough credit, but it is. It's well structured, and man, God, God bless our parish that He gave us so many people to be a part of it. But I guess Madera just multiplies like crazy with kids because every year it's more, right? Every year it's more.
I don't know. I was talking to one of my students. Okay, but I was confused with him because I said, he told me there were 6, but he was counting his parents. And I was like, he said 4 is like the normal number, right? In Madera. I feel like if you have 4.
In Madera for sure.
Yeah.
But in general, it's like 1.5.
Yeah, 1. Yeah, I know a couple families with 1. But then I also know a couple families with like 10.
Right.
So, yeah.
5, we'll just say 5.
Yeah, I think
4 or 5, yeah. Yeah, Madera's pretty pro-life.
Very blessed. I think it's very blessed.
I mean, you always see a priest or someone praying out there anyways if they're having second thoughts. Those prayers work, now that I'm thinking about it. Like, obviously, prayers work, but like all these families that have big families, multiple kids, and then I'm thinking about like there's a group dedicated to standing outside of Planned Parenthood, praying the rosary. I'm like, well, I think, we need to look at our fruits of those prayers because families are pretty big here.
Yeah. Are you going to the Walk for Life this year?
That's the day of Mia's competition.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It is. She's all like, so we're going to miss a competition. I'm like, I paid $100. We are going to the competition.
She's so funny.
Yeah, she's like, and Kevin is going to go too. And he's like, we can go after because it's in Stockton. So I don't know how far away that is from San Francisco.
It's closer.
I'm like, we'll see how the day plays out because, gosh.
Traffic might be pretty tough around that time.
Yeah. I'll just drive through the parade,
Get off. No, I was just wondering.
It's not even a parade, it's a march. Yeah.
I think a lot of, I know. Walk for Life. It's not even a march. They're all walking and praying. Lazy. I always think of like, what do they think of us when I'm walking through the
They're pretty open about what they think about us.
Yeah.
I feel like
what do we think of them? Oh my goodness. It's just
like, oh man, I wish you could see what we see kind of thing. That's what I think. I don't feel pity. I don't feel anything. Empathy. I feel empathy because I've been on that side where not necessarily on that picket line. I was a hypocrite. I was living the way that they want, but I was still walking with you guys. Yeah, it's
but thanks to God's mercy, you
100% thanks to God's mercy, and I've been.
Isn't that weird? You're like you're converted. I feel like that's a healthy relationship with God. You're like constantly converted. Like I have done wrong, and then you're put on the right path again.
Well, we're supposed to be perfect, so I'm gonna do a lot of wrong before I get there.
Okay. Perfect in His image, not yours. Don't forget that. Okay. Anyway, sorry. Walking while you're walking.
And thank you so much for pointing that out and making that the theme of this because it's so true to my ideal image compared to the actual image that needs to be done. But yeah, walking there, having a girlfriend using contraception and, even buying the morning after pills. But I'm like, life. And
isn't it wild how subtle society lies? It's like, oh, it's just a pill. It's just like Tylenol. It's just like this. And you don't realize that you're potentially ending a life.
Yeah.
It's
just to reiterate, this wasn't like last Walk for Life. This was like my first couple Walk for Lives.
I did ask how was last Walk for Life, and you're like, actually,
no,
such a hypocrite.
I am. No. This last Walk for Life, it's more, I don't know, love my feet are tired and cold. That's usually what goes through my mind. But I'm always curious of what it is that they're saying to us. And I don't take it personal. I don't get angry. I don't do anything like that. It's just, and I take Mia, and Mia loves it. She's just like, that's crazy how like they don't want to protect babies. And I was just like, I know.
No, but I think, okay, going back to as a society, California or the US is just, I feel like it's more in California. We're just like, we want comfort. We want our satisfaction first.
Our
and
pleasure,
nobody else's life matters. My life first.
Yeah.
You know, even though like, especially in the late term abortions, you're risking your life too, ma'am. You may never have kids again. Like,
and it's funny because a huge argument of them is just like, well, I don't want to have it naturally because it might, do something in my life. It might cause me harm. So,
but I think in the name of selfishness, we excuse so many things.
Oh yeah,
so many things.
Just to not be a little bit what is it? Effeminacy. It's unwilling to do what is arduous. For something about not wanting to give up the pleasure that we get out of it. Yeah.
Why are we like that? I'm telling you, holiness is going to come from those little people who will wait, who will get in the longer line just because it's a little bit of suffering that they can offer up.
Man.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The simple people in the US are the ones and who do it for the glory of God, not for themselves. Not like, you know what? All those impatient people going to the front, you know what I mean? Like not finding it out of their gratification, but for God, out of love of you, this is going to suck, but I love you. And I want to offer this little inconvenience for you. Yeah. I need to practice this too. Okay. I'm not 100%, perfect. Exactly. Yeah. But man, how much like our lives would be so different.
Yeah. And I've been really, really like getting into, trying to understand first penance and then trying to practice it. And I don't even know if I'm practicing it right. The days that I remember, I wake up and I'm like, God, I dedicate every frustration, inconvenience, everything that causes me to be, impatient with anybody at work for me to fall deeper in love with you. And those are other prayers. Man, God is so good to me. Because before it's like, help me fall more in love with you. And then I also started to include like, help me to receive your love the way I should. And I got to thank Father James. He's like, oh yeah, whenever you can, just be like, I love you, Lord. I love you, Lord. And I'm like, yeah. And
that is so funny. I know another person who told me like, I get it now. Like, I love you. Yeah. Jesus, I love you. But it was like, for her, it was, for the first time, it was, like I always said at the beginning, it's not just an image or somebody we have in mind. It's him, himself. Like imagine if we fabricated our God. Like he would be so limited. When you say, I love you, Lord, to the actual God, not your image of him, it's so powerful. Yeah. It's so humbling. Very humbling.
Yeah, I don't know what to say. And I think it's because of that, going back to what I said too about like, when I sin, it's like I've offended you, the one that loves me the most, the one that I want to love the most. I've offended you. And so it's crazy how things start to fall into place, which I still feel like I have a long ways to go. But luckily, I have an awesome spiritual director, great friends, and YouTube.
And YouTube podcast.
And it's not podcast, it's talks. Sensus Fidelium? I don't know. But they're very traditional, but not in the annoying way.
That's so funny. I didn't know there was an annoying way. What is the
annoying way?
I feel like the oblates are
pretty
just traditional, normal tradition. Yeah, in that sense. I don't know what you would say as in the annoying way. Maybe in the way that you wouldn't prefer. Because I think there's traditional in ways that we're comfortable with, and then there's traditional that's like we just don't understand.
I like the way that they preach because they're very blunt and it's extremely traditional. Like I'm trying to figure out how to do reparation for my sins, and then I realized like, oh, there's some sins that I just have to really rely on God's mercy. There's really nothing I can do to try to repair this, and like if it wasn't for those types of talks that bring up reparation, that bring up how to grow in virtue and stuff like that, because we say like, yeah, we need to grow in virtue, but it's just like, well, what virtues are there and how do we grow in virtue and what's the opposite of that virtue, you know? And
Mm-hmm.
obviously homilies are very limited. Um, and you can only talk about so much because they're supposed to be talking about, you know, what they read
Mm-hmm.
or whatever feast day it is. But yeah, and these talks really help me out with that.
That's amazing. That goes back to what I said, that sin that I committed or was about to commit goes always back to God's mercy. There was a phrase you said right there.
I don't remember what it was. Virtue. I don't.
No, it wasn't. It was a phrase on mercy. And I was like, yes, there is the reparational sin. There's only,
Oh, that we rely on his mercy.
yeah, there's certain sins that you commit in your life you can't repair. You rely on his mercy. And those are the ones that even though they sound and they feel so bad, you probably should have never done it. And I don't invite anybody to sin and to try and find God's love through that sin because it's not, no. But thanks to that sin, thanks to the evil that happened there, my own evil, my own weakness, I was able to find God's true love and mercy. And no fixing of me, no reparation that I put in is going to reveal his true love. Wait, that came out wrong.
There's nothing that we can do to
it's just astonishing to see how God chooses to show us his infinite love and mercy.
Yeah.
Even through our sins, even through our darkness, even through our weaknesses. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like we're always circling back to this, though.
It's a good topic.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I'm not the only one that has that confusion of, you know, just seeing God's justice and wrath instead of his love and mercy.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I heard something a long time ago. I'm going to butcher it, but it says, when you're in a state of mortal sin, the devil reminds you of God's justice, and God reminds you of his mercy. And when you're in a state of grace, it's something about the opposite. But yeah, it's...
I need to reread the Screw Tape Letters because I feel like this is all in the Screw Tape Letters and I just need to reread it.
Yeah, but it's basically that the devil uses even the goodness of God against us, the way that we perceive it anyways, because he knows how we're going to perceive it because we're so dumb. Well, at least I. But yeah.
We're so easily manipulated, I think.
Yeah, a lot of my knowledge has come from that YouTube channel, and I'll send you just one of them.
Yeah.
But they're very like, you know, you're very this and this, but understand they're talking about purgatory. They're like, yeah, a lot of people say like aim for purgatory, or at least I hope I get into purgatory. You don't understand the suffering that you're gonna go through in purgatory. If you can avoid it completely, just do that and start working on. And like they go on a rant of like, start working on these virtues. Allow these difficult things to happen. Be grateful when these difficult things to happen, because this little blip of our life is going to happen so fast, and you're going to be so grateful that you, you know, allowed God into your life. You went through all these hardships, and you did all that you could so you can become a saint here instead of through purgatory. I'm just like, whoa, way to freaking lay down the law on that, you know?
Yeah.
Because they talk about the fires of purgatory. It's pretty scary. I don't know if Saint John Bosco?
Maybe.
Yeah, well...
What do you say? What do you remember or think he said?
It's basically just as bad as hell. The tortures are just as bad as hell.
Well, they're purifying.
Yeah. The only difference is that, you know, in hell, it's God's justice and wrath that people feel there. And in purgatory, yeah, there's hope, but there's still a debt to be paid, because
there's a cleansing that's going on.
Yeah, but every penny that is owed has to be repaid. So it's pretty good. I really like it. I mean, and trust me, every time I'm like, man, this is really heavy stuff. I need to put some Father Mike Schmidt just to like, you know,
to even it out.
Yeah, no, I really do.
That's funny.
But even Father Mike always makes me cry, like on his long talks. It's just like, oh man, like he's gotten so much better as a speaker of showing like God's mercy, our full reliance on him and his love.
I think we'd be able to reach a lot more hearts if we really were able to explain God's mercy really well. because I don't think God's mercy is well explained or well
Understood.
Yeah. I don't think it is. It's like, oh, that means he'll forgive me and he loves me no matter what. I don't know. Like I've just heard this and I'm like, yeah, but you're still supposed to not try and sin, and you're supposed to try and get closer to him and pray. Like, he doesn't want you in that sin. He doesn't want you to be away from him. Like, what part of you doing all these crazy things you shouldn't be doing do you think he'll like and he wants? I don't know. I think people misunderstand his mercy.
Yeah.
To the both extremes. Like, I don't understand his mercy. He shouldn't forgive me, so I wouldn't forgive me, so I don't deserve his mercy. And the other is like, oh no, he loves me and I can do whatever I want, you know?
That's how that phrase went. So when you're in a state of mortal sin, the devil reminds you of his justice and not his mercy. And when you're in a state of grace, when you want to sin, he reminds you of his mercy to take advantage of it. So, it's like, I know I can just go to confession. Yeah. And so it's pretty crazy how things are. But you're absolutely right. That mercy. I mean, I don't know how many conversations we've had about it. And I've been like, nope.
Yeah, we've had a lot. We've had at least I remember a specific hour-long conversation. I was like, Diego, do you understand that God offers you the same mercy? Different, maybe, because you guys are different people, but the same, like, well, I think I compared Hitler and like you or something, or like Hitler and Mother Teresa. I don't remember. Yeah. He wants to give both of you that same love, like that same love. Like, don't think you're worse and you don't deserve that love. Like, no, the same. Like, Hitler was worse, and he was also called to embrace that love. And we think we're horrible people and we think we're not worthy of that love. And it's so frustrating when I know people who are like, I need to leave because I need to pray my 10th rosary of the day or else God's not going to love me, and I feel like I found you in that moment.
You did.
Where I was like, Diego,
I was in that moment for a long time.
I was like, you don't have to win yourself. I think that's another phrase that I know. Somebody told me, you don't have to win yourself into heaven. It doesn't work that way. Yeah. You can't win yourself into heaven. Stop thinking that you can win. The battle's won. He's died for you on the cross. You can't win. It's his grace, and you have to let yourself be embraced by his love and mercy. And you can't do it alone. You're not going to win your spot in heaven. You can. Okay, you should live your life trying to fight the battle. But ultimately, you have to embrace his grace and his love and his mercy. Because if you think you're doing this and you fail and you're trying to win over his love, you already have it. Like, don't. And I think I told you because I've lived through that where I'm like, I have to be perfect. I have to do this. I have to do that. And then I failed and I said sorry. And I live a life where I know I am not worthy of his love, but because I know he loves me so much, all I can do with my life is to love him back. My life is just a response of so much love and mercy he's given to me. And I hope I can share that with others because like that's all I've received. So that's all I can give back. Yeah. We don't deserve it, but we
definitely take it for granted and don't probably ungrateful for a lot of it too. At one point or another, but I am glad that he's been able to reveal to me, his mercy. It's through hardships. It's through me being a, knucklehead, but he gets through. He's getting through, and I just hope he continues. Pray for me that he gets through. It was just a lot of my ego in the way too. Yeah, that thing is so deadly.
Your pride. Yeah. Pride gets. Yep. There's things where I realized I was getting so frustrated and mad that I needed to talk to somebody about it because I'm like, am I right? am I supposed to be angry about this? And this last year, I've learned like, yes, but also no. Like, remember, you're not here for this little inconvenience.
Yeah.
I like learning to see God in the little inconveniences and choosing to try and be more like him through those inconveniences is hard.
It's very hard. Yeah.
You're like, okay, pick yourself up and just
go again. Yeah. I think one of the biggest ones that I struggled with too is obedient to my superiors, because I never saw my superiors as my superiors. That was the first mistake. I'm like, you have zero authority over me. You're not my mother. But you are my boss. You are my pastor. You are my, this priest, you are this. And that was humbling and eye-opening. And wow, like, he's so merciful for letting me see that at that moment and still giving me this much life to reflect it and repent about it. Because, man, like, have you ever had a near-death experience?
I've almost died a couple of times, but I've never had a near-death experience. So like knocked out and then probably dead when you're like...
Yeah, I was in a car accident where I flipped over. And,
yes, you told me.
Yeah,
let's say it again.
And I was not ready to die.
I do remember.
And I just remember thinking, like, at first I'm like, yeah, I'm fine. And I was physically, thanks be to God. And it was a seatbelt that hugged me, but I honestly, like, just, it was my guardian angel. I know it was more than that because I didn't move at all. I'm a little guy. It was a big seat. Big seatbelt. I would have slipped. I was held down the whole time, and I'm like, thank you. All I got was like a little glass cap, but I just thought, like, if that would have been it, that would have been it for me. I am so aware of what I was doing. I'm so aware of what I've done. I'm so aware of not, being sorry for these things or not wanting God's forgiveness. Yeah. And
he spared your life so that you could come back to him and say thank you. Isn't that wild?
It is. But I don't know how many more times he's going to give me that. What is it? It's Thessalonians, something about because he comes like a thief in the night. Yeah. Since then, like, honestly, I fall into the state of mortal sin. I'm like, I don't want to hear the trumpets. I don't want to hear the trumpets. I don't want to hear the trumpets. I mean, like, the first thing I thought, like, I hear trumpets. Father John, where are you at?
So funny. Yeah. Emergency confession.
Yeah. It's just like, yeah.
Oh, man.
Long distance absolve.
You can't do that.
And I am like northeast of you.
I hope this catches you.
Yeah.
No. Yeah, it wasn't in a car accident, but there was a moment where a car was we were going up and down the hills kind of in LA. Like like if you want to go around the Grapevine and all that good stuff into LA, you can go around and through the desert, but there's a lot of up and down. There's a lot of hills. And there was a semi coming up a hill, and there was a car in front of me going the opposite. We were both going this way. So they were going one direction, and we were going another direction. The car in front of me
was trying to pass up the...
No. So we were going up a hill,
okay,
and I can see a semi coming up. And then the car in front of me was right on top of the hill when the semi was coming up. And the car in front of me swerved off to the side on top of the hill still. So he swerved off, and I thought it was so weird. And out of nowhere, I could see the headlights of another car coming straight as I was still going up the hill. And I swerved off. And because I swerved like a second, like on time, he was able to go in front of the semi that was barely reaching over the hill. Yeah. That's
California drivers.
Yeah.
Man.
That was my near-death experience. But
that's so
I remember that day so well because I wasn't by myself. We were coming back from Mexico. I was driving, and it was my sister, my two sisters, and my nephews in the back seat. And one of them was a baby. He was like months old. Not even a month. It was like a couple of months old. It's like, oh my goodness. Like there's moments like that I'm like, thank you, God, because you've allowed this. You've allowed me to see your hand over me. Literally, your hand was over me, and you were there. Yeah. Same thing for you, like that.
Oh yeah, like I reflected so much, and like thank you so much for like not letting me die.
Okay, but going back to the beginning of like, how many people are missing that I am so lucky? Like, no, you're not. You're so blessed
Yeah.
because this is not luck. This is God holding you and keeping you here for a reason. And I think a lot of people miss that opportunity. And I pray they don't.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people could strengthen their relationship with God if they were just able to see everything that happens to them, not through the universe's eyes, how people want to say,
coincidences,
but through God's
or
eyes.
or luck. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's so frustrating. So I mean to see that, but I mean that was me at one point. You know.
Mm-hmm.
He's so good. He's so good that he's got me where I'm at. I'm like, just keep me here. I'm like, God, please always keep me in your grace. Always keep me in your grace. Always keep.
Yeah.
He's so good. It's already getting pretty late for you, huh? Oh,
I know. This second hour, we're like, let's check what time, and it was like an hour ago. No, yeah.
Thank you for coming back, and you're welcome anytime. And if you would like the Sister Jessica segment, I'll definitely give you that.
That is so funny. No. Yeah, no.
If you got something,
I just knew there was going to be a part 2, and I was like, can't wait till.
There can be a part 3, a part 20.
We don't know yet.
Yeah, we don't.
Yeah, we don't.
Yeah, this was the first time.
This is a day at a time, literally, because but I'm happy I came back at this. Yeah.
I'm happy that you came back too. Yeah. This was very good. I mean, I enjoyed laughing with you and goofing off the first time.
Yeah.
But I also really enjoy this. And this is what our relationship is like.
Yeah, I know. No, I feel like we're actually arguing a lot more. And the next time if we have coffee, if this is an earlier podcast, this would go like, if now there were like really dead end conversations, because we get all, and then we don't even have either of the Christians here. So I feel like they were really good at circling us back.
Yeah.
And then getting us like.
Yeah. You know what? Let's not even think about it.
Okay, they would answer questions.
Oh yeah.
And then so whereas now we're like, I don't know. We'll just figure it out.
Man, we're so helpless without them too.
This takes a community, okay?
It does. Oh my gosh, it's so hard to do a podcast.
Yeah.
And it's fun and something that I didn't do, and I'll be honest to all my listeners. I didn't really ask God if this is what he wanted me to do. I just kind of felt a calling. I felt people were telling me like, you should do a podcast. I'm like, okay. And yeah, I leave it in his hands. And today was the first time that I prayed for like, hey, I even I give it to Mary and Joseph, see if whatever they want to do with it. Okay,
my next talk, if we do, I'm going to pitch it right now. It's going to totally change. But I've been so fascinated with, how do you say this in English? Fragilidad humana, just how fragile human
fragility,
like how like weak we are. I don't know.
Yeah.
Oh, that's just a whole new topic. Like, I think that's why
Bishop Barron's always like, we're so puny.
Yeah, we are.
I love that word.
We're so little.
Yeah, we're so.
But it probably got wrapped into this where God's mercy.
Oh yeah,
us. Yeah.
He's.
Anyways, new topic for next time.
Holding us together.
But anyways, okay, wait. Back to what I was gonna say. If we had coffee, this would have been such an ADHD conversation.
Both of us.
Yeah, both of us. Like we need to get this.
Just interrupting each other every second, having 3 different conversations at once.
Yeah, no. I think we both caught each other like in a perfect mood where we're both like relaxed
and tired
and like, just like okay, yeah.
Yeah, we really did.
Yeah.
But thank you again so much for coming.
I'm happy for this.
I love it. Do you want to do a closing prayer?
I was gonna ask you to do a closing prayer.
Sure, 100%. Thank you.
Yeah, because I don't know. I was like, hey, you're the
host, right?
Yeah, the host. I'm like, the host. I don't think's ever done the closing prayer.
Yeah, I have. Only with you and Brother Victor.
And Mia? No. Oh, just
wait,
kidding.
did Mia do it? I don't remember.
I think you did it.
I haven't seen most of my episodes. No. I'm not egotistical. God's keeping me humble.
Sure, that's why.
I'll definitely rewatch this one. All right. In the name of the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen. Heavenly Father, thank you so much for everything that you've given us. Obviously, your mercy, your love, and all those winks that you give us in life. We ask that you continue to look over us, help us grow deeper in love with you, and help us be saints. Help us not look at you the way that we want you to be, and help us understand what it is that you want from us. As small as our minds are, You are infinitely great, and you can definitely guide us to you. Just give us the graces to surrender whatever it is that you want for us. Um, I pray for our country that this be a season of peace, and please keep us safe and always in your grace. We love you, Father. In the name of the Father, Son, Holy Spirit.
Amen.
Amen.